Welcome to the show. We are going to have Stock Up with Larry Jones join us, but that guy got pulled away and was asked to be a special guest on Fox News out of Chicago, giving his reaction to Chicagoland on what he thought about what the Fed said today. Well, he will come on directly after that show. And until then, you get the three of us. Welcome, Mo, my honored guests. Welcome, Keenan. Appreciate you guys being in the house today. We will timestamp this video after we're done putting it out, and because it's going to cover a lot of things. I'm going to kick things off. We're going to talk about this massive move for Meta and Microsoft and what implications it might have to big tech reporting earnings. We see the S&P futures are up, and the AI story is 100% alive. We see that it's feeding into NVIDIA after hours. It's hitting a brand new all-time high. Very exciting moment in the markets. We're going to talk about the Fed's hawkishness. We're going to talk about some things that Trump's up to. We're not going to get political, but it does impact the markets. We're going to talk about this Figma IPO. Now, if you don't know what the Figma IPO is all about, you need to, because this could be the next Circle. We saw Circle came out, IPO'd at around 30 bucks, opened up at 60, shot up to 75. And I gave clear direction that day. And I said that, we're going to have to, if we come back, we're going to come back into this zone. We're going to break that top. And if we break that top, we're going to hit $100. That thing went on to hit $200. And so FIG, F-I-G is the ticker, and it's going to start trading tomorrow. IPO, that's their initial public offering, and it is the next big deal on Wall Street. And matter of fact, I'm going to jump right into it before I get my honored guest's reaction, because I get so excited talking about some things. FIG, guys, I don't know if you heard this, but the demand of interest for shares that they were making available for pre-sale investors was 40 times the amount that they offered. Okay, so they had a certain amount of shares that they were making available, and they asked institutions what their position size or interest would be in this offering. And basically, let's just say they were making available 1 billion shares. All of the investment firms out there said, put us down for 40 billion shares. That's incredible. It's a 40x level of interest on FIG. Now, I'm going to, after we get through a bunch of stuff today, I'm going to give you my opinion on how to trade this and when exactly you should put an order in and when you shouldn't put an order in, and see if you guys need to do your own due diligence. This is not a suggestion for what you should buy, sell, or hold. This is the Stocks with Josh show, and this is the Stock Squad. Welcome to the show. Mo, thank you for being here. Keenan, thank you for being here. Let me just kick things off. I got to throw this out there for Keenan. Keenan, how much richer did you get today with your Meta position that you have been talking about for months now?
Oh, man. My Meta position is up like, let me see. I am up currently on Meta 39% on just the stock alone, not a stock option. I'm talking about a position that I just got into a few months back, maybe 2 months back. When we had that liberate you from your money day, as Larry Jones would call it, I'll tell you, I seen Meta dropping it like it was hot, all the way down to like, what, $400 and something. I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm doing nothing special. I'm not buying options. I'm not buying warrants. I'm just buying the stock. I'm not buying in the money calls. I'm not buying out of the money call. Just the stock up 40%. Why is that important? Because
it's big, man.
Meta stock, this is what I personally believe. There are three main players when it comes to that. I'm talking about consistent when it comes to bounce back plays. I want everybody to write this down. The three main bounce back plays, so you can do what I'm doing when we finally do get into a bear market, when we finally do get fear or tariffs going crazy. 3 stocks. The first one is Robinhood. When you get fear into the market, retail investors run for the hills. Then Robinhood stock drops down like crazy. That's what you look for in the bear market. The next one is Coinbase. When we get fear in the market, people are risk off. Coinbase, their revenue, it drops crazy. But guess what? It comes back in the bull market stronger than ever before. Hood, Coinbase, and Meta. For whatever reason, it's harder to explain why they drop than it is to explain about Hood or Coinbase. But Meta, watch Meta as well. I could explain it to you, but it's actually a little harder to explain, but it's an advertisement thing. Advertisement is the first budget to go when things get tough in the market. However, understand those three things are like the no-brainer bounce back plays. I want you to go back in the charts. This is your homework for tonight, and look at what they were even 1 year ago, and just go and check. Go and see even 3 months ago, so that you can see the opportunities that arise when everybody is afraid. When you look at that fear and greed index, you can Google that, and it's on full fear. That's when you're gonna go and look at your Metas, your Hood stock, and you're gonna look at your Coinbase stock. You don't have to be in support of the company to make money with them. That's how we're gonna get down, and that's how we're gonna win. I'm telling you, it's that simple. It's that
I love
simple.
it.
Great business structure.
I'm not going to do it right now. We'll see how much time we've got for everything, but I do have some technicals to share with you on Hood. Sort of where would we be if we went to the next fib level above? And most importantly, and I know if you guys have been following me for a while, you understand that I give you the point of control, the POC. I know what the POC is for Robinhood, and I'm going to drop it for you guys today. First, I got to acknowledge my guest, Keenan Grace, and his generosity, his super chat of $99.99. You know, I feel like a poor man. When I was over on his live event, I dropped him $50. And he's over here 2Xing me. I think it's that meta position. I'm going to need that $99.99, Keenan, to cover my Apple play that has been hurting me. But I'm just going to tell you guys up front. Okay. First of all, Apple reports earnings tomorrow. We're going to find out what they're going to do. The overwhelming position, I'm talking for a sweep of options across multiple timeframes and multiple strikes, it's overwhelmingly calls. Okay. So if they don't crush it, and if this doesn't rip, and if they don't talk about some AI purchase or some AI spend, it'll dump. But I've got time on my position. There's September. Okay. I'm thinking of rolling them out, and I'm just going to tell you guys in advance. Okay. If it doesn't rip tomorrow, I'm going to buy again. And I could be doubling down, right? But I just believe that Apple's going to have its moment. On that point, Mo, what are your thoughts on Apple right now going into tomorrow's earnings, and or Amazon? What do you think about both of them?
Well, I own a little bit of Amazon. All right, I'm hoping they come out strong. We know these tariffs and trade and everything else affects these kind of businesses. Apple, I still worry about Apple. Obviously, when you got Warren Buffett out there unloading tons and tons of shares of Apple, that's always concerning about me. I don't have the inside connection to management. I don't have some of the phone calls that he can make. And, you know, he's the kind of guy that says, when I buy a company, I'll hold it forever. And then he doesn't. And so when you see that, it's kind of a head scratcher, because Apple has a moat, or does it? And so everything's kind of changing quickly. You're seeing these stocks absolutely run up. You got Microsoft, Meta exploding higher. I look in the after hours, Apple down once again.
I couldn't believe it. How many of you guys out there were excited to see Microsoft pump, Meta pump, and Nvidia pump, and then you went to Apple and you're like, what?
Yep.
What? And you know, I'm gonna tell you this.
Yeah.
Apple, it makes sense that Apple went down because they're getting punished for the reason that Microsoft and Meta went up, Mo, because Microsoft and Meta invested in AI and Apple
Nvidia ran.
didn't.
I didn't even know.
It did. It's running.
Call.
It's running.
I'm in an Nvidia call. Hey, if you in KGU and you in an Nvidia call with me, or a SPY call with me, man, we are cooking right now. I cannot. Yo, I did not know Nvidia was running up. When I tell you, I am so pumped about that. We getting paid. We are getting paid.
Tomorrow's a good day.
You know what's funny? They say when you when you make your regular paycheck, let's say you get paid $1,000, $2,000, whatever you normally get paid, it's cool, right? But imagine you went and found $50 in your couch, and you're like, whoa, your paycheck ain't getting you excited, but this $50 in the couch, Oh yeah, that got you feeling good. That got you feeling good because you didn't expect it. That's how I'm feeling right now about the Nvidia call that I'm in. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love it. But I wanted to just say this, right? I had made a video yesterday. I'm so excited now, right? I was chilling, but now I'm excited. And in the video, I had put up a little screenshot, and it was about the 3 different scenarios, right? And Josh often does things like this when I watch his video, like if this happens, then that, right? And you even made a video about if then, like it's kind of like programming, like
Yeah.
if this and that. So I had said I did it like that, and it was if we get a rate decrease, then the market is likely to run up 3 to 5%, which we didn't expect, right? It was already priced in that we would get a hold, like 98% priced in. Now it happened. If we get a hold, the market will drop down slightly and then take off. This is what it's done historically. So we were loading up for that. And then if we got a rate increase, which nobody expected that either, then it would really drop the market. But since we priced in the decrease and then it actually happened, now we have a game plan. So if the market is actually paused, like the interest rates is paused, what do? Wait for a slight dip, load up on a slingshot, and then ride it straight to the promised land. And this is exactly what we're doing, but we have a game plan. So everybody who is in here, I'm telling you, you gotta have freaking game plan. It is amazing to see it. I feel like I went and tried to find that $50 in the couch, and it's $1,000 in the couch. So
Hey,
we love to see it.
I love, Keenan's making some money. Look at him. He's excited.
Feeling good.
Mo,
Other
okay,
people
Mo,
are making money too. That got me pumped.
we need round
That got me
2,
so
Mo.
pumped.
Apple and Amazon. Those are the 2 reporting tomorrow. Tell me what you think, brother.
All right. So obviously I got some positions update from the last live we did. I know you guys can't see me. It's all right. You got the portfolio here. So I have this rolled out on my channel in my Discord. They're rolling it up. We hit the crypto 3 weeks ago. We're up $150,000.
I remember
in
that.
3 weeks. It's
Nice.
huge. Sold at the top, which was about a week and a half ago. It wasn't a popular decision, but we sold tons of cash now. I've been moving that into TLT, T-bill. Got about almost $1 million in there, and waiting with that dry powder, getting that interest rate, and we're going to see what we can do with that. But I do got the Amazon, Broadcom, the latest play I love, NVIDIA in there. That's up 70%. So we're feeding. Had a little bit of a down day with the Fed kind of pooping the bed. We get in there. Old Jay Powell and the Goon Platoon decide to come out and be, the one thing no one expects. You got Trump saying, hey, I'm not going to fire him. He's all right. He's a good guy. And all of a sudden, you start thinking about it. You're like, all right, he must know something. All right. And in other words, I didn't expect a rate cut, but I thought he'd come out and be dovish. No. I was listening. I was like, what is
He wasn't.
This dude is,
You're right.
He was hawkish.
He was very hawkish.
Good.
Mo,
we don't need to do anything.
Trump kind of pissed him off going over there to the Fed building that they were building and just trying to stick his nose in it. So what do we expect? What do we expect from Fed Powell? He's under a lot of fire. And, I always think he handles himself well. But you're right, Mo. He was hawkish. He seemed bunkered down in a hawkish stance. I didn't see any dovishness in him today.
Josh, when I saw Jay Powell and Trump with the construction hats on.
Yep.
When I listen, in the world of AI, I could not tell if it was real or if it was AI. I'm like, there's no way this is really happening right now. What is going on? And then it was real, and I was like, you know what?
Yep.
The market is gonna pump. It's gonna pump. We're living in the Matrix right now. There's no way. Like it's funny because it's like this. You know how they say the market will I forget exactly how it goes, but it's something like the market will remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent.
Yep.
The market has been irrational since 1970. So we just making money. When they depegged the dollar, I think it was 76.
Yeah,
like
73, I thought.
Money into the market, and people are thinking, man, this thing is gonna crash. They've been waiting for 50 years. I've been waiting. It ain't happening, family. We making money. Now, again, let's slow down. I'm laughing and playing. Eventually, the market will correct itself, and you will get an opportunity to re-enter and make money. However, you really, really, really need to understand you're living in a world where nobody would have believed this 15 years ago. Bitcoin digital currency is worth trillions of dollars. Nobody would have believed it. What the heck is that? There's no way that. Family, don't look for things to make sense. Look for things to make money. That's really what you need to do. And when you do it, you'll be able to make a lot of money. And I'll say one of the best examples of that is Mo. Mo told me that he had Dogecoin when it was literally nothing. It was nothing. Mo, tell us a little bit about your Dogecoin.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, back in the day, the first day you could mine Doge, I built by hand miners. I went out and got the bread cart, the milk carts, was tying zip ties to motherboards and putting in processors, and I built it myself, and I built a bunch of them. And I had them all running around the house, and they came out with this crazy thing called Doge. And it was a big Reddit community was a part of it. I was a part of the Reddit community. I was like, hey, I'll jump in on this. And I had all the miners that went out and did it. And I was making over 200,000 Doge a day, a single day. Wow. And so at the top, when Doge was at 60-something cents, that equates to over $120,000 a day. And I was doing this for a long time. And of course, you know, that I turned it into Bitcoin. Sad story. I got robbed. The guy's in prison forever. It's a whole story, but I don't want to go over it now. I recovered. I did it again. Wife got cancer, lost it all again. Now I did it again. I didn't stop. I didn't let the world knock me down and say I give up. I did it again and have been able to become a millionaire, a crypto millionaire, and I love it. And so I rinse, repeat, sell at the top, buy at the bottom. I'm doing it again. And there is no doubt in my mind we're going to have price discovery in the near future before the end of 2026. When? What's the exact day? I wish I could tell you. I'm not the billionaires and trillionaires, but I got the candles to help me. And that's what I'm doing. And so I'm pretty pumped. I think Q4 is going to be the time I'm waiting for, roughly October, November. I'm going to should have 7 digits invested in crypto for the announcements that I believe are going to happen at that time. I'm coming off a lot of selling here about a week and a half ago at the top when everybody was absolutely ticked off. How could you sell? Because I like to sell high. And now we see it come all the way down technically where I'm comfortable. And now we start buying back in. And so I look at the opportunities we have out there. I bought Avgo, Broadcom. I love it. I got some other plays in there off the big, beautiful budget, taking advantage of, loving them. You know, so watch what's going to go on. You don't know with the Fed, but if we see a little play for some people out there that don't like risk, watch TLT. I did the numbers on this. If we get 5 cuts between now and the end of 2026, you're looking at about a 20% increase in price plus the dividend payments. It's a real low risk kind of venture because I think the tariffs are going to do a one-off increase in inflation, then they handle it right back down, and you're going to get these 5 cuts. And so it's a low risk play. And if we're wrong, we have to wait a little bit longer. And then at that point, you should still get your interest payments plus a little bit up to and including that 20%. So I got a little bit for everyone. High risk, I love crypto. Low risk, I love TLT. Middle, you got all the stocks I just showed you.
Well, Mo, let me keep you up here for a minute and let me give you a moment, even though you're wearing an XRP hat. Let me just ask your thoughts on Ethereum, which turned 10 years old today.
Yeah.
Ethereum, oh, wow. Yeah, turned 10 years old today. The one of the founders, not Vitalik, one of the founders was on CNBC, and he was really making me laugh. They asked him, if there was an ETH killer or who the up and coming threat or competitor was. And let me see if I can remember what he said. He basically said, well, you've got greedy venture capitalists, you've got passionate founders, and deceitful pundits will lead you to believe that there is an ETH killer. He said, but nobody rivals our ecosystem. He didn't even acknowledge that there was competition. He seemed to even hint that they were the Bitcoin killer and that Bitcoin was a small, trivial gimmick in the world of their successful, smart contract blockchain. I mean, that's kind of what he presented. Now, that you guys know, I'm probably more of a Bitcoin maximalist than an Ethereum lover, but setting up that moment, Ethereum's 10 years old. I know you own some Ethereum. I know it's up big. What are your thoughts on it today? There you
Does
go.
that work a little bit better? Did we get it in there? Am I in the
I love
right
it.
hat on?
I love it.
Hold on. Did you say, what do we got here? You guys see that? It's a
There
P.
you go, Bitcoin.
It's a P. I got a little bit of everything here, guys. In other words, don't go by just what hat I'm wearing. Folks, look at my portfolio. I got 6 digits in Ethereum, 6 digits into Bitcoin, 6 digits into XRP. I believe the big three are going to absolutely do some great things in their perspective niche. All right. And so each one has its own value that I believe will grow over the next 18, well, make it 17 months now or through July. I look at ETH as an opportunity with the security of their blockchain. It is phenomenal. And with all these competition, like Bitmine and all them, oh, we're going to own 5%. We're going to compete. We're going to own this. We're going to own that. Hey, that's fantastic, bro. You go. You know what happens when you own that? You have to buy it. And one of the things you can do is to get into these spot ETFs. I like, you know, there, you can look at the management fees. I kind of like the BlackRock because they put in for the staking reward with the SEC. There's no way they would do that unless they already knew they were going to get approved. So I expect that done before the end of this year. I've been loading into a lot of different plays, and I fully plan on taking advantage of that reward. Plus, obviously, I believe you're going to have a price discovery when all these companies are out there trying to get more Bitcoin, trying to get more Ethereum, and the supply can't keep up. That's a fact. It can't keep up. So eventually, they can still get what they want. It just means a higher price. The supply will be there once the price is at the point they need it to be to get what they're asking. And that price discovery or where that zone is, I don't know. But I can tell you this, I fully believe it's much higher than where we're at now for all three of my cryptos that I like. We will see where it goes, but especially Ethereum and Bitcoin with that whole limit, man. Woo, I'm loving that. And we'll see how that rocks out as we get into October with these spot ETFs, the Clarity Act, and all these other fantastic things happening. I know Loomis, I think, put something out today for mortgages for the young folk out there, that it could be counted, Bitcoin and Ethereum, just those two, could be counted towards your mortgage. We got this, we got the, I call it stimulus. Let's call it a tariff reward, the official name. That bill just got introduced. And that's going to be $600 per head in the family, as long as you don't make too much. I'm telling you, I called for that in 2024 before the election in 2026. And it looks like it's going to happen exactly how I called it.
You know, I don't really get very excited about those stimuluses. I wasn't eligible for the 2020 deal, which I'm grateful.
Hey,
I'm not
listen,
crying,
listen.
and don't cry for
Listen.
me. I'm just saying, if I don't get cut in, I don't know why the rest of it, everybody should be getting some money.
You're getting cut in because if you looked at the last 3 stimulus checks, crypto exploded.
You're right. You're right,
three.
Mo.
The rich,
You're 100% right. All right, let me get into. Sorry about that.
Hold on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The working man gets $600 per head. The rich, the millionaires, billionaires,
You're
and
right.
trillionaires, they're owning trillions in crypto that went up 50% to 100%.
No, you're right.
They got paid.
You're 100% right. All right, let me get into, because I promised it to you guys, I want to give you some specific thoughts on Hood right now. Very basic technicals, but one of the reasons why I sometimes get the technicals right is because I keep it simple and I keep it focused. I'm going to quickly acknowledge APLD real quick. A lot of people are asking me about it in the comments. APLD is pumping because NVIDIA is pumping. You know, I didn't really buy the sell-off in the sense I didn't believe that the sell-off in APLD was going to be permanent, okay? Every time I talked about it, including this morning in my live trade session in the Stocks with Josh Discord, I said, I'm not getting rid of my APLD. I'm not holding options, but I like the shares and I'm going to buy some more. I said it shifted from being a speculative, low cap, in and out play to being an investment. Tonight, we're seeing this. Let's go look at let's go look at that screen real quick. We're seeing APLD participate in this pump for big tech and AI. They're going to be a recipient. It's popped all the way back up to 1176. I want to point out this ascending channel Really, this was a bear trap. It came beneath the channel, spent some time consolidating, and literally in my live this morning, I said, I'm not going to let my shares go. And bam, this thing is totally rocketed up. Now it's actually sitting at some resistance. I'm okay with this vacillating. Personally, I see this being a $20 stock in 6 months. That's sort of my general price target. Don't buy it because I said that. That's just my personal view. You know, obviously we got to wait on some news. Let's talk real quick about Hood. I want to give you some facts. Matter of fact, before I talk about the chart, I'm going to share something with you guys. Let me pull my face up real quick. What is Hood been up to? Hood is actually up 422% in 12 months. They're up 1,500% since 2023. The last 4 candles monthly time frame for Hood have been straight up one after the other. It's far away from its moving averages. Why has it been performing this way? Because they were very quick to embrace crypto and bring crypto to the masses. They kind of ran up alongside Coinbase as a winner. But some people have said that they have gamified earning and learning. They brought Wall Street to the masses. Back when I was trading, when I first started back in 2000, but really full time, I was day trading in 2007. But in those early years, there was under 10% of all traders on Wall Street were retail. And I believe that we're pushing up to around 25%. And so a lot of people are participating, and there's a lot of people participating on a global level. These are the reasons why Hood has exploded. I do like Bull, B-U-L-L. It has yet to have its big move, but I think it's going to follow suit at some point. It's slowly coming up off the bottom. But let me take you guys into the Hood chart real quick. I just want to show you guys the point of control. Make note of it. So 105. I personally think that Hood, it had incredible earnings, blockbuster success, a shock and awe, and the stock's not moving. Look at this.
Josh, blockbuster success has become like an oxymoron.
I agree with you. Meta has succeeded. But no, so we ran up here pre-earnings and we got rejected at 113.50. Now, 113.50 is a point of control. It's not the point of control. It's a. Now, we had earnings tonight. So this was a pre-sell-off before earnings. And this is an extremely ugly candle. In this morning's live, I was joking around about the idea, when do we begin to short Hood? Now, I'm not going to call for it just yet, but I'm going to tell you I spent some time on the chart determining what the trigger was. And I came up with the fact that the trigger is 105.5. It's 105.50 cents. And you can see that it's really struggling to hold that. This is a fib level, okay? This is the highest point that Hood has hit, and this is the next fib level up, okay? So 123.50. If this closes this week out, if it closes this week out above 105.50, then I believe that the play is alive. And if we close a candle above 113.50, I believe that the next target will be 123.50. If by the end of this week it cannot hold 105.50, then it could be that this run is finally slowing down. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat that you've got support. Largest level of support is back here at $85. Now, do I think that it's going to fall straight there? No. It's stair-stepped up, and it might take a little elevator down, but it will start to stair-step down. Not calling it down. I'm just telling you, it's got to close above 105.50. It's got to then close above 113.50. And then I think personally, the top of the run, if we get a blow off top, if AI and big tech continues to push us higher, I think the top of the run for Hood is 123.50. We'll see if I'm right. This will be an interesting one for everybody to watch, but that is a hard prediction on Hood. Now let's take a minute. Let me see if I can pull this up. We're going to get into, there's so much to cover, and I can already tell we're not going to have time. So let me give you guys what I've promised, the title of this video, so it's not clickbait. Let's talk about Fig right now, Figma. So there was talk about it IPOing between $30 to $32, which would give it a valuation at opening of roughly $18 billion. Now, Adobe offered them $20 billion and wanted to buy the company not too long ago, but regulators stepped in and said, no, it's not going to work. Okay. So then they're going to go out and they take this thing public, and they're going to get way more than $20 billion. So it worked out in their favor. As I mentioned to you, there was a 40x demand for institutions wanting a position in this play. Everybody doesn't want to get left behind on these IPOs because they've been crushing it. There are a form of animal spirits in the market. A lot of people are locking in gains on Meta and Microsoft, and they want to pile it into the next hot thing. Fig, opening up tomorrow is. I'm going to take a minute, and I'm going to ask these guys their opinion on Fig, if they've got any feedback on it, and then I'm going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do tomorrow when it begins to go for sale. Keenan, would you lead us off? Anything that you got to say about Fig? What do you think about this?
I would say the IPO market has been absolutely on fire. People believe it in again. So if you did want to get into Fig, in my opinion, it's an IPO. Anything can happen quickly. Institutions know that you want to get in before they do. They'll get in before you do. So what you should do, if, in my opinion, can't tell you what to buy, hold, or sell, is don't be afraid to get into an IPO, but don't go all in at IPO. Generally, I would say if you want to get in an IPO, I totally hear you, because you feel like you missed out on Circle. You feel like you missed out on a few other things. They've been hot. Like, so many of them have been hot. So the time of the dead IPO is over for now, right? We're in a new phase where it's hot again. So don't be afraid to buy things at IPO, but I would say don't go all the way in. Like, if you got $1,000 and you want to do it, and you want to put $200 in or $500 in, depending on your own risk management, you got to understand that. And depending on your investment horizon, if you're really trying to get in on this company, why might you want to get in? You think about Adobe. Adobe didn't want to trade it. They wanted to totally own it and control it. So there is real potential there. And like Josh just said, the institutions are all over this. So those of you that are scared, then I would say, if you are very, very scared, but you want to get some skin in the game, it don't hurt to get you one share if you want to get some skin in the game, so you could at least track it and pay attention to it. But if you are scared or new and you don't, because I think we often think we're talking to people who've been trading for years. Some people have been trading today. So if you just started trading today, I would say, even if you did want to get in Fig, I would actually encourage you to not get into Fig, because it might send you the wrong message. Now, I'm not saying it won't go up, but if you just started trading or investing today, you don't want to start hot. I've been talking to a few people, and they're telling me they started investing or trading with Forex, or they started with Dogecoin. They talking about Dogecoin. They don't know what they putting money in. So I say that to say, when you start wrong, it's like building a house and you start at the roof. Don't start at the roof. Go and build from the foundation. If you got $1,000 and you never got into any investment at all, start with the S&P 500. I often suggest VOO. It could be FXAIX. It could be whatever. Start there. Get something very stable, and then start to build your way up to the roof. Don't just throw your whole 1,000. Trying to turn 1,000 into 2,000 in a day is how you turn your 1,000 into my 1,000, because I know how to trade better than you. So don't start from the roof. So start with the foundation. Those of you who already have a foundation, maybe you go and grab some Fig. I'm very likely to grab some Fig, and I'm gonna keep looking into it.
I love it. I'm interested in Fig as well. Let's get Mo's reaction to Fig. Guys, before I do, take a minute and hit that like for me. If these likes pop up, I'm going to tell you how to trade Fig. If we can't get these likes to 1,000, then I think I'll just talk about some boring Fed stuff. Mo, what are your thoughts about Fig tomorrow? Is this something you're going to? Thank you guys. Thank you for hitting that like, and hit the subscribe to get this content on the regular. Appreciate all of you. I appreciate the hearts. Drop that loaf of bread and put some oven mitts in there for Keenan. I saw somebody said something smart about Keenan. Banned. If you guys come up on this show and you say something smart about these guys, there's a button called I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I love these guys. There's a button called ban. I can't click it fast enough. So just be mindful of it, because I love you all
That's how
too.
I feel too, Josh. I tell people, I say, listen, man, No disrespect. I know Josh personally. I know Mo personally.
We're friends.
Don't come over to my channel saying nothing about them because I'm gonna. That's gonna be the last thing you ever say to me.
Correct.
It's gonna be the absolute last thing because we like to keep it positive. If you like to keep it positive with all of us in here, put a heart in the chat for the Stock Squad family. We overwhelm negativity with the positivity. Listen, right now, I'm gonna just keep it so real with you, right? I never say this to brag. You're watching 3 people who are having the success that you want to have talk to you about it for free on YouTube. So I didn't have this opportunity when I was trying to come up. I had to go and learn different ways, talk to professors, reading books. There was nobody I knew who would talk to me about what was real. They would try to hype me up. Oh, yeah, get into Forex, man. They wouldn't tell me to get VOO, which is how you really go and invest long term. They wouldn't tell me that. They wouldn't tell me about, hey, you should think about Robinhood by using the Fibonacci. You should think about where it could go on the next fib level. This is the point of control. Millionaires weren't talking to me like that for free. They weren't. So when you have the opportunity, you use it. And if you don't want to, you go to another video. It's YouTube. It's just love. We here for love. We here for love, really, to be honest with you. So, you know, I'm gonna be successful regardless of if I'm talking to you about it, but I choose to talk to you about it because they say it's lonely at the top, but it's not lonely if I bring you with me. That's how I feel, and that's what I want to do. And that's why all the hearts is flying into the chat, because they know that we trying to, the only time you look down on somebody is when you're reaching your hand down to pull them up. That's how we get down.
Thank you, Keenan. I'm going to bring Mo up. Give me a minute, guys. I think Larry's joined the show. Hold on a minute.
No, I was just watching Fox. And, you know,
Let's.
I want an autograph. I need autograph from Larry.
Let's get our celebrity up here. Give me a minute. This is no. Hold on.
You don't need to talk to me. We got a man that was just on TV. Let's go.
Okay. That's the best I can do. Larry, stock up.
What's going on?
Mr. Fox News.
Yes.
I appreciate you taking a minute and coming and joining us folks down here.
Our little program here, this little program is awesome.
I'm sorry, what's your name again?
You know, I know your schedule's busy, but hey, tell me, Larry, Mo, excuse me for a minute, but let's just give Larry a little bit of love. Larry had to get on Fox News. It was last minute. He was asked to give his thoughts on the Fed. So let me just give a little light here. Larry, just curious, man, what did you tell him over there on Fox News this evening?
Well, I told him that, I told him that the Fed is wrong. The Fed is late. He's late. I also told him that President Trump, didn't do him any favors by doing the gangster move he did last week. Right? It's just like, cut the cameras off, go into a room and talk, right? It was a photo op, right? And, Fed is thinking about his legacy right now, all right? That's what he's thinking about. And he's late. He's late. This time, he's just late. That's all. All of the data show, we had GDP came out this morning. We got PCE tomorrow, and we got jobs on Friday. The truth be told, he should have waited until next week and postponed this meeting, because all of the data, GDP comes out, it's showing that things are good. PCE is going to come out tomorrow. We're already expecting it. And you've seen what all of the inflation data has been doing, including myself. The tariff inflation hasn't hit yet, and I thought it would hit. We know that a tariff is a tax on the people, but the businesses have been absorbing the ones that have come into play so far, right? And so we got to go off of the data.
No, 100%. Real quick. Okay. First of all, thank you for being here, Larry. Speedy Stock, thank you for the super chat. He's asking about Coinbase reporting tomorrow. And I do want to get into that. And I want to give you the strategy for trading FIB, F-I-B. And the likes are at 954. And if you cross that threshold of 1,000, I will give that FIB trading strategy to you. Larry, take a minute and give me your thoughts on Coin. Now, we saw Hood reported today, and they killed it. I'm expecting Coin to kill it too, but Hood sold off. So that wick Larry, wicks express the emotion of the markets, and the wick shot up. The bears beat it down. All right, so now we've got Coin, and And Hood did great, but they rewarded it by selling the stock and locking in profits. What can we expect for coin tomorrow?
These plays, I don't hold out earnings. I rarely play earnings. Let me just say it that way. But I expect Hood to kind of do the same thing, Coin and Hood they're kind of on the same playing field, right? They make their money off of crypto transactions, right? Hood, crypto and stocks, right? But Hood is doing a lot of innovative things. They're going to be digitizing, the stock market. They got the betting going on. Hood is more aggressive than Coin, if you ask me. They're more forward thinking. They're tapping into AI more than Coin, and their road is bigger. It's not just crypto. So it's a kind of hard one. I don't have a hard answer for that, to be honest with you. I would be more positive on Hood than Coin.
I got a good reason for that too. I almost forgot it. But so Hood, and I had mentioned this when it happened, maybe a month ago or so. Hood was like $80, $85. And they made an announcement, and I jumped into a call option and made a lot of money on it, because now it's like 105, but I'm out of it now, right? I'm not gonna act like I'm still in a play. I'm not in. I hold the stock, but this is what happened. You know how you can't invest in the SpaceX right now from Elon, or you can't invest in some private companies right now? So over in Europe, where they don't have to necessarily deal with the United States SEC, they launched a program. Robinhood did this. They launched a program where they buy these private companies. You need to be an accredited investor and have $250,000 like liquid or net worth or whatever to be able to do it, which they have. They go and buy some SpaceX, and then they tokenize it, like Larry's saying, they digitize it, and then they sell you the tokenized version. So now you have an IOU for shares of SpaceX or shares of something else if you live in Europe and you're on the Robinhood app. Now, the United States, they haven't opened it up to the United States yet, which is where their primary customer is. So if the SEC allows it, then we would be able to buy tokenized versions of like an IOU of companies that aren't out yet. So currently, you need $250K to be able to buy these private companies. So only institutional big investors can do it. So now with the tokenized version, you can just buy the token, because it's not technically buying the private company. You're buying a representation of it. So Robinhood is like trailblazing this right now, but they're only doing it in Europe.
Well, let me give you guys one more reason why I think Hood would be a great long-term investment. I want Hood on a pullback. It's showing a little bit of weakness, but we'll see what the market does over the course of the next week. We could rip. But one reason is there's legislative talk right now of getting rid of the pattern day trading rule, which limits people from being able to trade in and out of positions under $25,000. And so what I see is, in this bullish environment, and I would say some aspects of Trump's presidency is, this promise to deregulate. I mean, Gary Gensler got, pushed out of his position. It's been a free-for-all on crypto. If we get that form of regulation with Hood, that would just cause the stock to run up even more. I mentioned earlier that I think we're pushing at around 20 to 25% retail participation on Wall Street. That number has been steadily climbing year over year. And so I think that Hood is, and then, once they get rid of the pattern day trading rule, and then they start allowing them to extend more leverage to people like they do on Interactive Brokers and other apps, you're going to see a big market bubble, sort of like we saw in the Great Depression. You're going to see at some point in time, this liquidity will cause a problem. But for a number of years, it can really lead to a lot more participation. That participation leads to a lot more liquidity. More liquidity moves up on the market. We got well over that 1,060 likes. And because of that, I'm going to quickly take you guys into Fig and talk about the way to trade Fig tomorrow. What it is that I think we need to be keeping our eye out for. Fig can do anything at this point. I mean, it can absolutely double. It's going to open up at $33. Let's go look at this screen. Let me jump over there, guys. Okay. We're looking, and you say, well, what screen am I going to show you if this hasn't even launched yet? It's not tradable yet. The ticker will be FIG. I'm going to talk to you about Circle and what happened with Circle. So Circle came out at around $30. That was the initial offering. But what happens is millions of orders get placed, market orders get placed, and what happens is the exchange will begin to try to process those. And so for the first 3 to 4 hours, it's going to try to match up orders and deal with that massive load of buy requests that come in. And that's why even though Circle IPO'd at $30, it actually opened, or it ultimately, the ticker started off at around $66. And it then began its journey of climbing. Now, this is what's going to happen with Fig. We're going to get a jump from 30 to something. I'm not going to predict it. 30 to 45, 30 to 55. So, if you get a bad fill, I've been in IPOs and gotten bad fills. Larry and I have had conversations. We could probably talk about war stories of trading IPOs, getting bad fills. But let's just assume that this does well because of animal spirits surrounding Meta and Microsoft. You got to just be imagining that the Fig boys are they couldn't be happier right now. They're IPOing at the top of the market with animal spirits and Meta and Microsoft crushing it tonight with the futures up. Surely some light has shined on the faces of the Fig founders. Okay, so here's what we're going to be watching for. You're going to have a run-up moment, okay? You're going to have a run-up moment, and this is going to create a local top, and it's going to get closer to the end of the day, and you're going to see it fall off, right? Then you're going to see a pullback, okay? And you're going to want to see if it respects the 9 EMA or VWAP. Those are your two basic things you're going to be watching, right? Your VWAP and your 9 EMA. But here's the trigger. And I said this on the first day of trading for Circle. I said, guys, if tomorrow we come back above, actually, let me pull back here, guys. This was actually the first day right back here. This is 12-hour chart, so I'm going to go with the hour chart so we can zoom in on this a bit more. Let's see. We got to come back here. Okay, right here. We're going to clean this up. I'm going to make this point. You guys will follow. It'll be good. I'm going to clean all this up. Be patient with me, guys. All right, so right here, this pulled up and pulled back, right? And I said to you guys, if we break this top, then we're going to explode, all right? And this is what you're going to be watching for. A little bit of a pullback and a break of the local top. And you can see from there, this went from $60 all the way up to $300. Now, I cannot tell you that Fig will go from 30 to 60 to 300. I can tell you that this pattern that I just showed you, that's the one we're watching out for right there. That's the one that tells us that this is going to moon. This is the one that's going to tell us it's going to go parabolic. So there's your game plan for Fig. I hope it made sense. That's what I'm going to be doing with Fig. It's going to have this initial pump. There's going to be some form of a sell-off and pullback. That's a different type of risk. But the risk is when it goes back up and crosses the previous high. It means that there's just going to be nonstop buying. So any thoughts on that, gentlemen? Mo, what are your thoughts on that?
There we go. And I'll tell you this. I like the excitement. It takes me back to one of my favorite IPOs. We're throwing war stories out here. I'm going to share one with everyone who's thinking about getting into Fig. I got in. I was teaching. There was 10 of us all together. And we were putting in $25 a piece per paycheck every 2 weeks. So $250 every 2 weeks. And we ended up growing, which was just $250 altogether, 2 weeks. So times 26 a year. We ended up growing in under 5 years to 6 figures in gains and everything. It was unbelievable. And so one of the plays we got into that didn't pay off right away, that actually lost over 50% of our investment, which at the time we put in $10,000. When we didn't have that much, but we put in 10 grand, was a little company called Facebook. The IPO came out and we got in at 40.
Yep. I was with
share.
Mo. I remember this very well, and I traded it too. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about your experience.
So the guys, the ladies and gentlemen who were in the club said, let's buy Facebook, ride this thing. It's going to be huge. And of course, you know, we had a voting thing on it and everything else. So it passed, and they said, all right, we're gonna go big on it. And we got in right at opening. I think it was like $40. And I'm gonna pull up a chart to show everybody how this turned out. Because right now you're gonna say this. You're gonna see the oh, you're gonna pull it up that way. Go ahead. So you can't, well, see that little price right there, $700 and something. That looks good, doesn't it? That's not what happened.
Right. Show them the whole picture. I waited.
You can barely see it, but right down here, it got at a low. You guys can't see it, but I'll just tell you this: $18.
Yep.
It went from 40 down to 18 in a couple of weeks. It got crushed. We never made any money, but we held. So this is a story of, we believed in the company. We knew we took a loss. We could have took a loss. And we said, you know what? I still think that their advertising is going to grow. And it exploded. And we made a bank load of money off of it. But it took time. And so there's two ways to look at these plays. Timing is everything, of course. It's like buying a business, you know, location. Well, for some of these IPOs, it's timing. When are you getting in? What's the price you're getting in? Are you getting in when everything's FOMO'd all the way up and then you're going to have to wait? Or are you going to wait for a better price? And it's tricky. I'm going to be blunt. It's like an earnings call. Are they going to come out and crush earnings and then give forward guidance that stinks and then it drops? Or are they going to pull a Tesla like the other time where they absolutely missed everything, but then they talked about the future and it goes up 10%? You don't know. And so I liked what Josh did. I liked using the technicals to look for that moonshot. I love seeing the resistance come back down, break that resistance, you're taking off. And I like that play. But that's for the short-term people. And I'm probably one of them going to be with you on that, Josh, watching that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And for the long-term people, look for that pullback. Maybe look for a price that you're comfortable with when you do your due diligence. And if you're a long-term person, enjoy. And sometimes, though, it may take, like Meta, Facebook, which everybody loves, that thing dropped for weeks afterwards. So don't expect, just because everybody's excited, that it has only one way to go.
I think those are very good points. And I do remember Facebook IPO very well. I remember that, this is what I remember, is that I was excited about it. They had not monetized the app yet. You remember that, Larry? They hadn't monetized it.
Me and you discussed it.
Yes.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Me and Larry went out to coffee. Here's what I remember is that I bought in at like 18, 20 bucks, and I doubled my money and I sold it. That's what I remember. And then I watched it. I've watched it. If I should have held those shares and never sold them, I should have been selling puts against them for the rest of my life until my hair went gray. Okay, real quick. I want to bring Keenan up here. I want to ask this question. We're going to talk about Trump breaking news. Breaking news, unverified, but I'm going to take your guys' word for it in the chats here. It says that he's announced that he's cut a deal with Korea. Maybe somebody can confirm that. But so this is what's going on. Tomorrow or Friday, we've got August 1st. That's the deadline for China. And I think that obviously that could get kicked down the road another 90 days. It seems to be what Bassett has suggested they'll do, that the conversations are moving along. But you never know. Trump's unpredictable. He might want to add some pressure to China because he cut a deal with the EU. He's got now potentially a deal with Korea. It's been a good week for Trump. He's starting to show that people do want to come to the table and work things out. That begins to put pressure on anybody who hasn't come to the table. Keenan, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen Friday? Is there any chance that he's going to shock the market or he just is too happy to continually say that markets at all-time highs? What do you think is going to happen on Friday with the China deal and the tariffs?
So there's two pieces or two parts to Trump that I often see. The first one is he's a crowd pleaser. He loves to please the crowd.
Yeah, so, we were there. We were there at the Bitcoin conference.
Oh yeah.
The Bitcoin conference. Listen, if he feels like something is pleasing the crowd, he'll dig in.
Yep.
And one of the indicators of crowd pleasing is when he says something and the market pumps, right? I imagine that he'll keep trying to do that thing.
Yep.
So the other piece of it is he wants other countries to pay us with tariffs. So then he does something that could crash the market and then get praised when he turns it around and turns it off, and then the market is running again. So he's almost inducing it and then solving it. And if he does say something negative about China or whatever happens, understand every single time, without exception, bad tariff news has been good buying opportunities every single time. So if you see it happen again, I can't guarantee you that this time is going to be like the last, but literally every single time that Trump said something the market didn't want to hear about a tariff, it was an opportunity every time without fail. So either way, we're going to win. Either he's going to do it again and let us get in a slingshot low, or he's going to say something they want to hear, and our current shares that we're in are going to take off. So that's what's going to happen on Friday. One or the other. We're going to make money now, or we're going to make money later.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this show. First of all, thank you guys. Thank you, guys, for being part of this page. I appreciate it. I'm humbled by it. These are all very successful men. What they've done is grown their influence, as well as teach many people how to grow their wealth. Each of them has their own YouTube page, and I think that probably everybody knows that. But if there's one person that doesn't, you can go to Keenan Grace, and you can subscribe to him. You can go to Stock Up with Larry Jones, and you can subscribe to him, our local celebrity, and you can go to Stock Mo's page, and you can subscribe to him. And if you watch this far and you're not subscribed to me, I think you need to hit that sub button. I'm going to leave it right there, guys. I'm going to interpret something I'm picking up from Keenan. I'll let him speak for himself. But each time we've talked about the market pulling back for any reason, he's like, guys, I'm going to buy. So I don't know what's going to happen with Apple and Amazon tomorrow, but I told you already what I'm going to do. And I know people are going to ask me. I'm going to roll out my Apple calls. I'm going to wait for things to settle down, and I'm going to double my Apple position. And someone said in the comments, and don't follow me. That's what I'm doing. I have the money to do it. Okay. I make daily money trading my scalps, A+ trade setups. They're available for those who join my Discord. I make daily money. I have the money to do this. I'm going to go long Apple. Wall Street unanimously is well positioned in calls, and nobody's really positioned in puts. Okay, it's overwhelmingly calls. And someone said, well, they haven't invested in AI. They're not going to have a good quarter. I would agree with you. They don't have to have a good quarter. So when they initially released their numbers, it wouldn't surprise me if the stock fell some more. What's going to happen is they have to announce that they did something with AI, or they have a big AI spend. They already allocated $500 billion. They need to say that we threw $100 billion on the table. They know this. Tim Cook is going to just destroy his legacy if he doesn't show up tomorrow. They're already calling for his basic resignation and a new CEO, a wartime CEO in the age of AI. If he doesn't bring something with AI tomorrow to wake this stock back up, he's going to just get destroyed. Let's go right to Mr. Stock Up. Stock Up, what are your thoughts on Apple tomorrow?
I really don't have much on Apple tomorrow. I am long Apple. Apple's been behind. Apple usually is tight-lipped, and they unload everything on September because they're trying to move products. And sometimes to their default, they'll be tight-lipped, right? They're behind in the whole AI thing, and that's why they're getting smacked down. But long term, they're going to come out a winner. If I could take 30 minutes, I just wanted to show everybody how I make money.
Did you say 30 minutes?
Did you say 30 minutes?
30
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I want to show an established pattern that I have on every single Fed meeting. I've made money on every single Fed meeting. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'll do it as quick as possible. All right. So look at that. So this is the Qs. Every single, the last 18 Fed meetings, he starts talking, Fed decision, it's flat. When the Q&A starts, literally in the middle of the Q&A, every single time, I do a put and then I do a call. You can look at it and you could see right here on the spot what happens. Fed meeting, boom, boom. Same thing with the Qs. Let me show you this. Q, Q, Q. It happens every single time. Put, boom, and then call. But you got to move fast. You got to get in and you got to get out. This has been the last 18, at least the last 16 Fed meetings. Okay. And so listen, Josh, you were talking about VXX the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Look at that. That was today.
Yep.
Right. That was today. But now I sold the rest of them. I was showing my money movers there. And then here's how it ended though for the day. Boom. So you have to get in while he's talking. You have to grab this money, and then you got to get out.
You're right, Larry.
And it is so established till it happens. It's the easiest money. As a matter of fact, I could only trade, not do any trading, and only trade the FOMC meeting, and I'll make a lot of money. And they always say though, only fools trade during the FOMC meeting. Well, I'll be a fool. I yield the floor.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge all the people that gave me a super chat. I appreciate you. Ignacio Cortez, thank you. I'm going to leave it there. Mo, did you have a final word?
No. Hey, I still see some good things coming in the future, and hopefully everybody subscribe to all the different channels here, and we'll keep bringing you knowledge nuggets as we go.
I'm burning through the comments to see if there's anything I need to acknowledge. Thank you all for being my special guests. Keenan, any final word?
Take care.
Gus McGillis, $4.99. Thank you. Keenan, great message. Appreciate all of you. Peace and blessings. Hit that like and subscribe.